Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, your place for news and gameplay. Some good, some bad, and let's be honest, likely some rage and tilting. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell for notifications. Today's episode, take a look at some test server action. Actually, in this test server, we have quite a bit to look at, so let's quickly get into it. There's been some more tweaks and changes to the Kinetic weapons, the Tempest, the Avengers, the Punishers, the Punisher tees, the Molot tees, so we're going to look at some of that. Also, we're going to look at the phase shift. We're going to still look at the Behemoth. We're going to look at the Phantom. There's been a change as well to the Raven. Last weekend's test server, you had increased damage after the second jump. This week, it's been changed to after just one single jump, you get increased damage. So we're going to look at that as well. So in this particular test server, I'm going to try and run 2 games, or at least have a video of 2 games anyways. And so the first one here, let's concentrate on just the Behemoth and the Phantom. I'll go over my hanger, and then I'll swap out and I'll show my second hanger, and then we'll get into the gameplay. So the first game is going to have the Behemoth running Tempests. We'll see how that works, because the Behemoth really is a sitting duck. I have 3 thermal nuclear reactors on it. I have lockdown ammo to see if I can lock down the enemy. And as for the pilot, I have increased speed, damage, a couple weapon damage increase. I have the ability to enter the acceleration mode in the Tempest faster, increase the shot grouping, healing, as well as increase in durability. So if we go into my next one, I'm running Behemoth again, running 4 Chimera, and again 3 thermal nuclear reactors. This one I put the death mark on for the Chimera, so I can do more damage to targets over structure. And my pilot here, I have increased damage. Basically, also if the enemy controls 3 or more beacons, do increased damage. I imagine if I sit in my Behemoths too long, the enemy will control 3 or more beacons, assuming it's either domination or beacon rush. I have increased durability, healing, and all the effects of the modules on the Behemoth will last longer because I'm running Deathmark. I want it to last as long as possible. So now I'm going to be running 3 Phantoms. The first Phantom is going to be running 2 Halos and a Corona. I put in the Last Stand, Anti-Control, and the Thermonuclear Reactor. On this particular one, I put on the Quantum Radar, just in case I'm running into some Lokis. I want to have at least one bot that has Quantum Radar. So looking at the pilot here, increased durability. I put the increased shot grouping on this one, as well as increased weapon damage for both a Halo as well as just a general increase of weapon damage. I have increase of speed. I put in more speed if the enemy controls 3 or more beacons, and I have the repairing and smashing durability each second. On the next one, I'm running 2 Sparks and a Scourge, again with Last Stand, Anti-Control, and Thermonuclear Reactor. Because I don't have any lockdown weapons on this, I put in lockdown ammo because I need to maintain the lock-on if at all possible, assuming the bot I'm firing at doesn't have stealth. And for the pilot here, I have the ability to lock on faster, 33% faster, since I am using weapons that do require a lock-on. I put in increased speed, durability, increased weapon damage for both the Spark and Scourge, increased overall weapon damage, and make sure that I do have some mechanism to repair over time. And finally, the last one, I don't imagine this build will do very well, but I did want to test the Punishers and Punisher tees, so that's what I threw on this Phantom. Again, Anti-Control, Last Stand, Thermonuclear Reactor. I put the phase shift on this one just to give me a little bit extra maneuverability and survivability if I happen to be in close quarters, and if for some reason my teleport ability isn't available at that particular time. And for the pilot itself, I don't know why I have Phantom locks on a target factor. I don't need that one. Let's quickly change that here. Let's see what we can come up with here. Do I have anything? Nothing for the weapons there. Let's see here. I can put durability on. I might put durability on. Yeah, I'll put the increased durability on. Not sure why I might have had something else on this bot to begin with before I changed it back to Punishers. Okay, so, oh yeah, I was going to go over the rest of the pilot here. So increased durability, speed, all effects last longer. Again, more resistance, because I am running a bot with Punishers. It probably won't last terribly long, so I want to increase the resistance. after I capture a beacon, increase weapon damage, repairing over time, and yeah, so I get resistance if I capture a beacon, and I get resistance if the enemy controls 3 or more beacons. So we're going to see if we can survive in this particular bot. Okay, so here we are in my second hangar that I have set up. So first off here, we're going to be running the Ares. If we look at it right now, I put in 2 shredders, 2 pulsars, just so I have some lockdown capability, although I'm pretty sure most people will be running anti-control. So in regards to the modules, I have a last stand, and I put 2 anti-controls because I do not want to be locked down, because all the Greek bots have a decrease in their speed for the duration of their ability. So once my ability wears off, I want to make sure that I can actually get to cover, and I don't want to be locked down, so that's why I put 2. I actually put 2 anti-controls on all the Greek bots that I'm running. I throw through a phase shift on here just to give me that extra little bit of survivability, so that once my shield drops, I can activate that and get to cover. For the pilot, I'm running increased weapon damage, increased speed, durability. Again, another increased speed, increased weapon damage, but I took the speed off. Speed is actually important for the Ares, but I just wanted to test out the increased weapon damage. So I do have the increased speed of 6.5%, but I lose 7.5%. So overall, I'm actually losing speed, but that's why I put the phase shift on this particular bot. So if we go back here and we look at the next bot here, I threw in the Nemesis running Storm. Again, a last stand and 2 anti-control. I put the advanced repair unit on here, and for the pilot, running increased weapon damage, the built-in weapon, as well as increased storm damage. I also used the increased shot grouping for the storm. It's 30%. I have an increased durability, increase like I said before, the ability damage, increased speed, and repair over time. For the Hades, I threw in kind of a weird build. Usually you try to make sure your weapon range is match, but I wanted to throw an Avenger on something. So I put the Avenger on here, and I threw in 2 Blaze. Ideally, I was going to put an Ember on there, but the Avengers have been tweaked a little bit, so I wanted to make sure I tested the Avengers. So I have 1 Avenger, 2 Blaze. Again, a last stand, 2 anti-control. Because I'm running Avengers and Blaze, I wanted be able to lock down, hopefully. Again, it all depends. If I run into bots that have anti-control. And for the pilot, we're running increased weapon damage, increased ability damage. The Blaze does increase damage. Let me see here. Sorry, my phone was ringing there for a second. So yeah, I'm doing increased damage, increased speed, increased durability. The Hades does increase weapon damage, but speed is lowered by 7.5%. But if you notice, unlike the Ares, the speed on the Hades that I have the increase one is 10%. So overall, I'm still gaining about 2.5% in speed, and I have increased healing over time. And I want to make sure I threw in the Raven because I want to test this increased weapon damage after each individual jump. So I threw in 2 Corona, 2 Halo, running a last stand and anti-control with the advanced repair unit. And I equipped this thing so it does damage. So I have Halo increased damage, Corona increased damage, Corona has increased shot grouping, Halo has increased shot grouping. The Raven deals increased damage. The Raven has increased speed because we all know the Raven, as well as the Griffin, has horrible speed. So I want to have at least a little bit more. I think the Raven and the Griffin are almost as slow as the Fury, which is absolutely ridiculous. And finally, that the Raven has increased healing over time. And lastly, we'll look at here, I threw in the Loki. I don't have enough Halos to put it on my Raven as well as my Loki, so I'm running 2 Halos and 1 Gust. I threw in the Last Stand, Anti-Control, and I put the Battleborn on here because if I do get up close and personal with somebody and they somehow be able to hit me in stealth, I can deactivate my stealth. They can hammer on me, I can hammer on them, and I'm going to have resistance for... actually, I can't remember what the resistance length is. It's for 10 seconds, so I'll have resistance for 10 seconds. So looking, and I did put on Quantum Raider on this in case I do run into another Loki or another stealth bot. I want to be able to make sure I can hit them. And for the pilot itself, I put in increased weapon damage, increased shock grouping on the hail, and increased shock grouping on the gust. Because the shock grouping, in my opinion, will actually give you more bang for your buck than actually going in and taking the increased weapon damage individually anyway. So I wanted to get the shock grouping over top of, say, increased halo damage or increased gust damage. So I put in increased durability. I wanted to make sure that Loki had a lot of speed, so I put the increased speed, as well as if the enemy controls 3 or more beacons, it gets increased speed. And finally, that the Loki has some mechanism to repair over time, since I am running Quantum Radar. So with that being said, that's my second hanger, so let's get into the action. As I said, the first game will be the Behemoth and the Phantom hanger, and then the second game will be this one. So let's get to it. Alright, here we go. We finally found a match, and it's Beacon Rush. So, let's see here. Let's start with the Behemoth running Tempest. I'm going to go over here on the right-hand side. See if I can get set up someplace here. I want to see how these Tempests react. I never run Tempest. I can't even remember its range. I think it's 800. See, for some reason this guy, oh yeah, I think he's moving now. There we go, he's locked down now. Okay, get in my mode here. Get to cover, reload. Getting stuck, getting stuck. Alright, let's go on up here. Let's see, I need to get... So that guy has last stand, you can see the marker. Right, I need to... Oh, I tried to lock him down, but he must have had anti-control. Why can't I switch my target here? Yep, you're gonna die here. That's fine. Let's see here. Oh, somebody hit me. Okay. So that being said, let's try the Phantom out running Punishers. Okay, he's taken care of. Now, where is a target? Okay, guys, stop getting beacons. I want this game to actually last. I want to test. So that guy has last stand. Guy's last stand's already been triggered. I guess that was a different mechanic that's been changed. Alright, let's shred this guy up. There we go. See if we can shred this guy up. That's a nice mechanic. I like how the bot goes that kind of the bluish ghost color when you're in phase shift mode. See if we can't get this. Oh, the Hades has already had its shield back again. Okay, drop the beacon. Okay. Go back here. Hit this guy. And the last stand should trigger. There it is. It's been triggered. And let's shred him up. Okay, ran out of ammo. Activate my beacon. Shred him up. Get out of damage or harm's way. Shred this guy up again. Actually, this build isn't that bad. Assuming this guy would get in my way so I could shoot. Well, that was a pretty quick game. At least I got to test one Behemoth, one Phantom, and the Punishers. I really expected that game to last quite a bit longer than that. So let's look at... I didn't do very well myself, but that's because of the bots I was actually running. Oh well, okay, so let's go back and let's get started and run a second game running the Greek bots, the Raven, as well as the Loki. So I'll get that set up and we'll be back here in a second. Wow, finally, I have a game. It took me almost 3 minutes or so waiting for this game here. Alright, so let's start with the Ares. I want to save my Loki for a little bit, just in case we get behind the beacons, and I can drop in my Loki and I'll have that increased speed, because I do have that one skill to increase my speed if the enemy controls 3 or more beacons. So let's go around here, see what we have. Oh, there's the Behemoth running Chimera. So there is a Loki coming right there. Use my phase shift, get a harm's way a little bit. He's got phase shift, it looks like, too. And I'm going to die here. I really don't want to have to play it to try to find another game, but they've already have 4 beacons on us here. I could have used my phase shift again, but I want out of that bot. Okay. Let's throw some fire down the center. Hit multiple people if I can. I want to get in a spot where I can try and use this Raven. Might be able to do it right here. Let's try. I don't know if I can reach him in time though. There we go. I'm hitting him. Barely, but I am hitting him. There we go. Looks like I think that's a Falcon there. Let's see what we can do. Jump up and over. Oh, this increased weapon damage. If he has just a skill, look at that. I'm stuck. I hate getting stuck. Okay. Let's pound on him again. Must have that traditionalist skill. Heal up again here. Jump up here. Block him down. I didn't want to land on this side. Oh well. This Raven is actually doing pretty good. He definitely has a Trista skill because he's not going down very much. But I am taking him down quite a bit with this Raven, which is a bit surprising. I wanted to try to activate his last stand, but that didn't help. So we're behind in beacons. I need to go and grab some beacons or this game is over. This game might actually be over before I even get a beacon. But the way that test server is going right now and the length of time it takes to find a match, I might not be able to have the time to find another match here. So I've got to try and get some beacons and prolong this game. This is what I don't understand about a test server. Like, why do people go out and just try to get through the game as quickly as possible? So I'm going to see if I can capture this beacon too. Yeah, this game is over with. It kind of sucks. I'm not able to test what I want to test because people are just going out after all the beacons, and the team deathmatch, at least it would last longer, but then I can't test the skills that rely on using beacons. So anyway, so that was this second game here. Again, not the best. At least I was able to test the Raven against a Falcon, and the Falcon did have traditional skill, but the Raven did hold up quite a bit better than I thought it would. That new skill, or yeah, I guess you could call it a skill. The new added ability to do increased damage after your jump. I think that's nice. What I don't like is that the Raven's getting so much now farther than the Griffin. The Griffin needs a little bit of love. Actually, both the Griffin and the Raven need to have some speed increase. They're just way too slow. I think that'd be okay for the Griffin. It is supposed to be a lower tier bot, and then the Raven can have the increased speed as well as the increased damage boost after each of its jumps. That way it's a little bit more viable in the upper leagues. So everyone, here are my final thoughts. On the Behemoth, I think it's fine the way it is. I know many people out there are saying it's a sitting duck and that it needs something else, such as resistance. However, I disagree. My view is that all bots should have an inherent weakness. You shouldn't have the situation like with the Greek bots that you need a specific bot and or weapon setup in order to counter it. Most bots, given good circumstances, should be able to stand a chance. It's called balancing, and many games do this well. War Robots does not. Getting back to the Behemoth though, most people who decide to run this bot will put on Tempest, Trebuchets, Dragoons, or Chimera and sit back at a range. And for those who camp, they essentially sit in a single spot anyways. So the Behemoth just becomes a replacement for the Fury and Butch for those who want to be able to fire all 4 weapons at once. And I think it's good that the downside for firing 4 weapons at once is that the bot becomes stationary. What if you made Behemoth being able to walk while firing all the weapons? And on top of that, add resistance like some have been calling for. You're having a very OP bot that could even outperform a Fenrir. No, the Behemoth is a niche bot for a specific purpose, and it's balanced for that purpose. The Phantom is an interesting bot, and I think it's quite good and not overpowered. It adds an interesting dynamic to the game. If anything, I'd maybe increase the timer for being able to teleport back to a beacon you've dropped. If you want to use it to capture a beacon and then teleport to safety, it can be a little difficult. There were plenty of times where my timer ran out just before I capped a beacon, let alone if you're actually trying to liberate a beacon. I think the timer should be about 20 seconds or thereabouts. I did like the changes to the kinetic weapons. I'm glad they removed the Punishers from the Punishers and the Molots the increased rate of fire, because it really was a nerf to these weapons, having that the bullets actually came out at a longer interval, and they really didn't need this. Just an overall buff, which appears to what we've received in this test server, so I think the kinetic weapons are good as they stand. I do like the phase shift, but I don't think it's needed in the game. It's kind of a poor man's last stand in that it can help you survive for a few seconds, albeit you cannot fire your weapons like you can in a last stand. On the other hand, you can use it multiple times, as it's an active module. But I would rather run healing over this in the way it's built right now. However, if the phase shift was changed to, for instance, let your robot move through structures, since the weapon damage can move through you, well, why can't the bot move through structures? Then that might be an interesting mechanic. Of course, if you came out of phase while inside a structure, I think your bot should explode, like it does falling into water on the Castle of the Carrier map. As for the Greek bot speed decrease, I really can't see this affecting anything. It may slow down the Ares train some, but people will just adjust. The problem to me isn't the speed while using your ability, it's the speed in general. The Ares is way too fast, it can outrun just about any bot, including a pursuer that's not using its pursuit mode. This goes back to my comment that all bots should have a weakness. I don't feel any of the Greek bots have a true weakness. Yes, you can counter an Ares with a Loki or a pursuer, but again, you need a specific bot to do so. In my opinion, either reduce the speed overall for all the Greek bots, or reduce the speed for the duration of the ability as well as the duration of the cooldown. Once the cooldown is over, the speed can go back up. That way, an Ares or other Greek bots can't quickly run behind cover. It does go for all the Greek bots, the Nemesis and the Hades. And yes, I do view the Nemesis being a bit of a problem in the game. A 5-second cooldown for its shield is absolutely insane in my opinion. There are times I'd actually rather face an Ares than a Nemesis. Finally, I love the changes to the Raven. I think it'll be a very fun bot to play, and I might even have to start leveling mine up. I do think, though, it needs an overall speed boost. Both the Raven and its younger sibling, the Griffin, are way too slow. It's nearly as slow as a Fury. And the new bots like the Fenrir and even the Behemoth walk faster. I'd say give both the Griffin and the Raven an overall speed increase, but only give the Raven the increased weapon damage on top of the speed increase after its jump. So keep the Griffin like it is, just add a speed increase, but with the Raven, add a speed increase as well as the increased weapon damage. Anyways, those are my final thoughts. As always, if you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Feel free to like this video, and until next time, cause some mayhem in the field for me.